Hello there, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Professor Jacob, and welcome to my class on Pokemon Biology. Joining me here in the classroom today, as he does every day, is my wonderful teaching assistant, Mr. Curtis. Say hello to everybody, Mr. Curtis.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Oh, you know what? That is just music for my ears. The days and nights that I stay sitting in this classroom, waiting for the next class to start.
You know, I say the same thing every lesson, Mr. Curtis. It's just become natural to me at this point. I don't necessarily mean it. It's just, something I say to kick off the class, get everybody's brains going and in that thinking mood. It just so happens that I say that you're my wonderful teaching assistant. I don't necessarily mean it.
I mean, every time you say it, it's like unique snowflake upon my life, and
wow.
I just get to cherish that.
Wow. Say what you will about Mr. Curtis. He's poetic, that's for sure. And of course, what is a classroom without a student? So in our classroom, our student is Corbin. Say hello to everybody, Corbin.
Yo, yo, yo. Yes, even if it's one student, it's still considered a classroom. As I've said before, for the last 45 weeks, it gets kind of lonely being in here. I would love for another student to show up one day. We could have some banter, some class clowning, some fun, some note passing or something. But alas, I am here alone.
No note passing in my classroom. Not
well, don't worry. You don't have to worry about it because I'm the only one here still. So
listen, and it's not really because of you, Corbin, for the no note passing rule. It's just that Mr. Curtis kept sending me love letters in the middle of classroom. I just had to get that. That just had to stop. It just became too, it wasn't even really a love letter. It was just I cherish all that you do, Professor Jacob.
I think I caught a peek
wish
at one
I
of them,
could be you.
And it didn't sound like he had a thing for you. It sounded almost more like how I would imagine a carnivorous Pokemon would talk to its prey. It sounded almost like he didn't want to be with you. It sounded like he wanted to eat you or live in your skin. That's just the vibe that I got from his.
Yeah, the living in the skin. It's weird that you said it because I felt the same way. I felt he did want to live in. He wanted. I think he wrote down, "Your skin is so nice. I wish I could have it."
I mean, your skin is nice.
Yeah, that's not very subtle poetry, but yeah, I think he probably did say that in one of the letters that I peeked on.
If I could make a nice pillow out of your skin for me to cuddle at night, that would just
okay. All right,
I would never have trouble sleeping again.
No, we're moving on.
Yeah,
What's the lesson today?
Let's do what we're here for, and that is to talk about Pokemon biology. And does anybody know what Pokemon we're talking about during this class? All right, I don't think it's Corbin. Corbin doesn't know.
Oh, right. Spinner X.
This one I remember. Do you remember? Oh, I wish, but no. It is another insect Pokemon, though.
Cypher.
Do you remember which one?
Which
one I told you?
I know it. Yeah, so you don't need to ask me.
It is Paras.
Ooh, Paras. That's right.
Well, I mean, more commonly pronounced Paris.
You got to get the trill in there. Paras.
So who here has seen what Paris looks like?
I haven't actually. I have not seen one.
Well,
I'm trying to think.
You know what? Today is your lucky day because we don't do this often in this classroom. But I figured today, you know what, we do it. Here, I have with me in this Pokeball is a Paris. So let's take a look and see what it looks like.
Look at this little bean baby. That's a cute little bug Pokemon. Let me tell you about that Pokemon. That's a cute little bug Pokemon. It looks like it's got two little buns.
I know.
Like it's how the girls wear the buns in their hair or whatever. That's what it looks like. Two
little buns on its bun.
I guess
two
so.
little buns.
Well, the two little they're actually mushrooms. More specifically, they are tochukaso mushrooms.
Bless you.
And let me just say, they go great in a mushroom ravioli.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. You know what? You may think that's a crazy thing to say, Mr. Curtis, but it's not. Because these tochukaso mushrooms are actually commonly used for a bunch of different things. Well, mainly one specific thing, which we'll talk about. When we get to it, but
it's cute. It's really cute. I love its eyes.
I see the thing about. I've always found the eyes very disturbing. I don't like the eyes.
It's kind of cute. Now, Vileplume last week It's kind of bordering on cute also / demonic. This thing, it's got cute little big black eyes, and you just kind of want to hug it a little bit. Now,
Yeah, but it never blinks. It doesn't have eyelids. It just stares at you constantly.
I think, yeah, but
And like, if you look at it close enough, you can kind of see that it looks like it's like pleading. It's like begging you to do something, but you can't quite figure out what it is. It might have something to do with the fact that those mushrooms on its back are parasitic and are siphoning away most of the nutrients.
wait. You mean to tell me that's not part of its body?
I mean, it kind of is part of its body. See, Paris is an interesting Pokemon in that it consists of 2 different parts. Part of it is, the bug part, the little, like bug-looking thing with, the legs and the little pincers and stuff and the teeth. That's one part. The other part are the mushrooms, which, siphon a bunch of its nutrients and kind of, like, drive it to do things.
Oh.
Like, it's like a part of it.
So does it hatch
instinctually.
from an egg with those mushrooms on it?
That question will be answered later on in the Pokedex entry. So let me go ahead and put this Paris away. I mean, do we want to name
I was going to say, it's been a while since
we've
we've named it. I want to name it Hilton.
Ooh, Hilton. I like
Hilton.
that.
Hilton the Paris.
Hilton the Paris. I don't know why.
Hilton
it just
the Paris. I
flows.
like it.
It just flows.
I love your Paris Hilton.
I normally fight you on your namings, but this one's good. I like
Hilton the Paris. I love it.
Hilton the Paris.
Hilton,
All right,
it was
let's
good
put-
to see you. See you next week when you evolve. I can't wait to see you then. You're going to be cuter than ever.
it. Sure. All right, well, let's put Paris back into the Pokeball. All right, so let's go ahead and get cracking on these Pokedex entries, starting, of course, with the Kanto region. Burrows to suck tree roots.
What does?
Paris burrows to suck tree roots.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a tree root sucker.
That's fair.
The mushrooms on its back grow by drawing nutrients from the bug host.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's mainly it eats the tree roots. That's its main form.
Okay, cool. Got a lot of good fiber in there. Nice.
I mean, I gotta wonder what it actually is, because it's like just water, right? It's just mostly water with maybe some of the gubbins from the tree.
A little bit of dirt, maybe. A little bit of dirt.
I guess. I don't know what makes tree roots so special. I don't know. But so that's its main form of nutrients, and the mushrooms on its back. The mushrooms on its backs, their main form of nutrients is the Paris itself.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes. All right. The next one says it burrows under the ground to non-tree roots, and then the mushroom on its back absorbs most of the nutrition. So it doesn't even get most of that nutrition. It goes to the mushrooms mostly. It really just leaves the Paris enough to survive and keep going, like the bug part of it.
Huh. So it doesn't actually. So most of those nutrients are literally just going to feed the parasitic mushrooms. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. It grows by sucking nutrients from the roots of trees. The mushrooms on its back grow by drawing extract from the bug host. All right, so we really kind of have 3 pretty much the exact same Pokedex entries, just written slightly different in the Hoenn region for Paris. Okay, but in the Johto region, things get a little bit more interesting. So the first one here, it says, it is doused with mushroom spores when it is born. So it doesn't come out with the spores, but it's doused on them when it's born.
By whom?
It does not say. It doesn't say who does it.
Maybe I assume the parents.
I would assume that it's the parent, but we'll come to learn that by the time it gets to a parasect, the parasite has pretty much taken over completely.
What?
So I would imagine that it's the shroom on the back is kind of telling the parasect parent to put the spores onto the back of this new baby, which is kind of sad.
So it's
honestly,
kind of an
if you think
endless
about it.
cycle of these mushrooms just preying on this specific bug type Pokemon. It's a never-ending cycle of parasects giving birth to Parises, and then infecting it with the spores of the mushroom so that it grows, and then turns into another Parasect, and then it just the whole cycle continues of just feeding off of the life force of Parises and Parasects.
Yeah, that's kind of what we can assume from this entry. The entry goes on to say that I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, Mr. Kirsch, you have your hand raised.
I want to talk, Professor. You guys keep talking over me.
It's okay, buddy. It's all right.
I was gonna say, It reminds me so much of Bulbasaur's and the seed of their plant being planted on their back when they're born.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
remember?
very good. Very good. It was a very long time since we've talked about that.
Do you remember
Pokemon,
that
so.
was in our first lesson of this?
Very
of,
first
of this
lesson.
class?
What a lifetime ago.
Yeah, let's all
Yeah.
think back for a moment and imagine that first lesson. So the first Pokemon, now write this down. The first Pokemon
Okay.
is a Bulbasaur.
Oh.
You should know this. Okay, who is slurping?
That's
Who
right.
is slurping?
It's definitely Curtis.
Put that drink down.
Forgot to
Put it.
mention.
I'm
Mr.
done. I'm
Corbin?
sorry. I'm done. I'm writing my notes. I promise.
I swear to God, if you slurp one more time.
I'm not gonna
Swear to
slurp
fucking
anymore.
God.
I swear to God, I'm done.
Okay. No, that's it. That's it. You both have detention. I don't know if I can.
God
give you
damn it! On
detention,
the
Curtis.
first day, my mom's gonna be so pissed.
Yeah,
Oh God.
Dude, your assistant's dying.
that's fine. Man, wow. You were thinking about it, that lesson really sucked. I don't know why we decided to go back and think about it. It was pretty awful.
Yeah, could have been better. Your teaching skills weren't very good.
Every lesson of yours is the best lesson, Professor. Don't say that.
It's weird because I've taught this class like 5 times now, so that wasn't my first lesson ever. But you know, I guess I had nerves that day.
It was your first time with the recording device and doing the whole digital virtual
True.
classes. I
That
get
is true.
you were nervous. I get it. It's fair.
Okay, so the entry goes on to say, as its body grows, mushrooms sprout from its back. The next one says, as its body grows large, oriental mushrooms called tochukaso start sprouting out of its back.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that's the name of these mushrooms. Tochukaso.
Tochukaso are the mushrooms. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Tochukaso.
Yes, exactly.
Tochukaso.
Spelled how it sounds.
Okay.
Tochukaso. Gotcha.
Okay, and this next entry I find really interesting because it kind of like, shows the power that this mushroom has over Paris. It says, the tochukaso growing on this Pokemon's back orders it to extract juice from tree trunks.
Okay.
So, like, Paris, like the bug part of Paris might not even like the juice, the tree trunk juice. Maybe it's just something that the tochukaso likes.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
And it forces the bug to go and drink from the roots.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, pretty gruesome. Really, to me, it's really sounding like the life of a Paris sucks.
Yeah. Not a good Pokemon to want to be.
It would.
Yeah.
It kind of leads in. Yeah, I can see that.
Leads into what? What? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
It the Koku Tachu mushroom
That's
kind of
not
leads it to do things that would make a boring lifestyle. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
It's it's tochukaso.
Yeah,
Tochukaso.
The Toko
Yes.
Makachu. Gotcha.
You know what? Close that. That's all we can ask for with Mr. Curtis.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and read from the Hoenn region. It's the first one here says, Paris has parasitic mushrooms growing on its back called tochukasu. They grow large by drawing nutrients from this bug/grass Pokemon host. I said grass. It's grass. We all know it's grass. It goes on to say that they are highly valued as a medicine for extending life.
Paris's or the mushrooms or the tochukaso mushrooms?
The
Tochukaso. Yes.
The Togo
those are,
Bachoco.
oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's the mushroom part. It's the mushroom part that's used for a medicine for long life. The next one says, a Paris has parasitic tochukasu mushrooms growing on its back. They grow by drawing nutrients from the host. They are valued as a medicine for long life. Very, very, very similar. In fact, the next two in the Hoenn region are pretty much ones that we've already heard before. Sinnoh, it's very similar. It just says mushrooms named tochukasu grow on its back. They grow along with the host Paris.
Yeah.
And then we're pretty much the same.
How many Picasso mushrooms can they grow throughout the lifetime?
I mean, if you look at any Paris, it looks like the max amount is going to be 2. But I think if you take off one, another one will grow in its place.
Is that confirmed anywhere?
No, but we have seen Paris removing the tochukasu from it, and then we'll see that Paris with still 2 on it later on. So
Okay.
I mean, it has to get them back somehow.
Huh.
Again, I haven't spent a lot of time researching Paris specifically,
Okay.
but
Cool.
I think we can assume that does. Let me go ahead and move on to the Alola region, because this is when it starts coming back and creating some new entries. And guys, this must have been like an off day for them, because these are some interesting entries.
Okay.
The first one says, no matter how much it eats, the mushrooms growing on its back steal away most of the nutrients it consumes. The mushrooms called tochukaso sprout from its back. They can be dried and powdered to make a medicine used to extend life. All right, so kind of things we've already heard before, but it kind of like tells us a little bit more of the process.
Jeez, extend life by how much?
I don't know. It depends on how many of the mushrooms you eat, I think.
Okay.
All right, the next one says, whether it's due to lack of moisture or a lack of nutrients, in Alola, the mushrooms on Paris don't grow up quite right.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means. I guess they are kind of like small or shriveled or
lopsided.
something. I don't. Yeah, I guess
Kinda.
like slightly to the right, if you will.
Yeah, a little shriveled. Maybe the shaft of the mushroom's a little too small. Maybe the head's a little
It can't quite hold up
lopsided.
The head.
Yeah, the head.
I mean, it's just not quite right. Is all we're saying.
Not quite
And
right.
We haven't done enough. We haven't done enough research to figure out if that's because of 1, a lack of moisture, or 2, a lack of nutrients. We haven't done the research to figure that out.
I would
yet.
hate to be a Paris. Not only do you have a parasitic mushroom on top of you, but if you're an Alola, there's a good chance that your mushroom head's going to look a little funky.
This next entry is really the prized jewel of all these entries.
Okay.
So get ready. The mushroom, known as tochukaso, are controlling the bug. Even if the bug bugs the mushroom, they tell it to bug off.
Wait,
what?
what?
I don't know what the person who wrote this was smoking, but it must have been good. Let me read it again. The mushrooms known as tochukaso are controlling the bug. Okay. Even if the bug bugs the mushroom, they tell it to bug off.
Hey, get off my back, see? No. Is that how it goes?
No, Corbin, you're misunderstanding. The mushrooms are telling it to bug off.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That was the second voice. Oh, shut up.
Oh, okay.
That's the Paris and the mushroom. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the Paris is telling it, hey, get off. And then the mushroom on the back's like, no. And then the Paris is like,
Okay.
like that's
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
that's kind of how it goes.
I mean, everybody knows the majority of the mass of any fungi is the mycelium growing throughout the bug of the Paris. Really, the mushroom is just a flowering body.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Nerd alert.
Nerd.
Holy
Geek.
jeez, I didn't know we had a nerd in the classroom today.
Nerd.
Listen, nerd. Hey, go
listen,
give me your lunch money, nerd.
Nerd.
I
Stick your
can-
head in the trash can, nerd.
Yeah, give me do my homework, nerd.
Nerd. Give you a fucking
Professor,
swirly,
I'll
nerd.
do whatever you say.
Don't you got a book to read,
Nerd. Don't you have a girl not to kiss? Nerd.
Oh, got him, nerd.
Don't you have braces
Hey,
to
what-
wear? Nerd.
Hey, don't you need some tape to fix your glasses, nerd.
Nerd.
No, I only use web with my glasses, but thank you.
Oh, that's really nerdy.
You don't wear glasses.
When I need them, I do.
Okay. All right, so that wonderful Pokedex entry was the last regional Pokedex entry. We have one very, very short, unique Pokedex entry that comes to us from Ash's
How
Pokedex.
short is it?
Well, let me read it to you. You'll see how short it is.
Okay.
It says, Paris, the mushroom Pokemon. Rare mushrooms grow on its back. Boom, that's it. It's done.
That's it?
That's all the information Ash gets.
Good job, Ash. You didn't tell us nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Worthless.
All right. So let me go ahead and that does it for the Pokedex entries. Let me instead read a unsourced, uncredited article, unless anybody has any surprise essays they want to bring forward today.
No, I don't.
No.
No.
Okay, that's
no,
fine.
not
I was worried that somebody might try to go above and beyond, but silly me, I guess.
Well, Curtis already did that last
alright.
week, so he's not going to do it again this week.
Yeah, I mean,
It's asking a lot.
he said he spent all week writing that. I mean,
I
we
did.
can't expect him to do that every single time. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to give him a little bit of gotta give him a break.
Yeah, a refractory period, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. This unsourced, uncredited article says Paris is an orange insectoid Pokemon. Its ovoid body is segmented, and it has 3 pairs of legs. The foremost pair of legs is the largest and has sharp claws at the tips. There are 5 specks on its forehead and 3 teeth on either side of its mouth. It has circular eyes with large pseudopupils.
Okay.
I don't really know what that means.
I
what
don't know.
Pseudopupil
Beats
is.
me.
It makes it to me. It makes it sound like those aren't its actual pupils, and those are like fake pupils.
I guess so.
I guess so.
I mean,
all
I think
right.
that's what they're implying, but I've seen Paris's pupils move before, so I'm pretty sure they're real.
Or maybe they're just like really, really good pseudopupils. They fooled you. Okay. It goes on to say that red and yellow mushrooms known as tochukaso grow on this Pokemon's back. The mushroom can be removed at any time and grow from spores that are doused on this Pokemon's back at birth by the mushrooms on its mother's back. Again, we don't know if that's true or not. That's not in any of the Pokedex entries.
I was gonna say that's not there. So according to that, there's other spores just sitting there on its back, waiting for the other mushrooms to die, and if they die, they form a mushroom.
I guess I'm not entirely sure. As Mr. Curtis says, that the mushroom part is really only the flowering part, and the majority of it is the, what do you say, mycelia that grows inside,
Right,
like
the
its
mycelium.
roots, pretty much. So
So the majority of
that's
the
where-
mushroom itself is inside the Paris, not in the actual flower part.
Yeah, I would guess.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Tochukasu are parasitic in nature, drawing their nutrients from the host's Paris's body in order to grow and exerting some command over the Pokemon's actions. For example, Paris drains nutrients from tree roots due to commands from the mushrooms. The mushrooms are also popular among collectors and have medicinal uses, usually involving extended life, and also apparently a great soup, according to Mr. Curtis.
Ravioli.
Oh, sorry.
Mushroom ravioli.
Nice ravioli. No, wait. Do you make like the ravioli pasta, or do you like stuff the mushroom heads with some kind of stuffing?
No, I use the mushrooms to make the stuffing for the ravioli noodles, like that goes in the ravioli.
I just wanted to make sure I understood how this ravioli was getting made.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one, it goes on to say that Paris can often be found in caves. However, it can also thrive in damp forests. In the Alola region, the mushrooms on its back do not grow well. This is thought to be from a lack of moisture or nutrients. And that does it for this unsourced, uncredited article. And it does it for all the information that we have on Paris.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So in my personal opinion, I think it's time to test your knowledge and see what you have gathered.
Again,
Ready.
Go ahead.
God,
I've been taking
mean,
notes,
always.
Professor,
feels
like
we,
I do every
feels
time.
like we do that every
but
week.
I know. You think you'd eventually be prepared for it
I
at one point.
guess
Every time, it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and put away our notes, our Pokedexes, our pens and pencils, anything that might assist you in this. Instead, bring out your Rotom laptops. Wait, no. Did I say put away your pens and pencils?
Yep, you said put
Pens
them
and
away.
paper?
I already did it. You can't bring them back out now.
I guess it's fair. To be fair, you don't need them for this one. This one you're not gonna need any
Good.
scratch paper for.
Good.
So put them all away. And let's get ready for this quiz.
Pop it
Who's
up.
ready?
Let's pop it up.
I'm
Come
ready.
on.
Give it
All
to
right,
me, Professor.
question-
Hey, Professor. I want it.
No, don't make this
Give it to me.
weird.
God damn, he makes it weird every time.
Don't.
I want it.
Stop rearing back in your chair and
You're
closing
gonna
your
fall.
eyes.
Listen, I had a student once do that, and they fell backwards and they broke their skull completely open.
Oh my
so-
God.
I don't.
So
I
don't
wanna,
do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Don't
right.
hurt that part of me.
Question number 1: Where does Paris get a majority of its nutrients?
That's easy, breezy, beautiful. Cover Paris.
All right, so Corbin responded with from tree roots, and Mr. Curtis responded with Paris gets the majority of its nutrients by sucking the roots of trees. Yes. Now that was a pretty easy one. I'm gonna say this right now. Most of these answers are gonna be easy.
There wasn't a whole lot of information about this little guy.
Yeah, I feel like there can be I feel like they could go into a lot more depth in the interactions between the Paris and the tochukasu mushrooms on its back, but whatever. We work from what we have, and what we have is, even if the bug bugs the mushroom, they tell it to bug off, which is, great, excellent research work.
Very scientifically well written,
that's
might
good.
I add.
Yeah.
I love it.
Did I read Mr. Curtis's answer yet?
Yes,
I can't
you did.
remember.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes, you guys both got it right.
Sweet.
The next one says, what is the name of the mushroom growing on Paris's back, and what can it be used for?
Well, you also just fucking said it.
I mean, I said it about 5,000 times during this lesson, so...
Jeez, I wonder what it is.
Listen, alright? I have to make these quizzes every single week. It's not easy.
Hey, we appreciate the work you put in, but step it up.
It's not easy, especially when half of the Pokedex entries say, as its body grows, so do the mushrooms.
It's like, how many times can the Pokedex entry say the same thing? Like,
I could tell you how many times it can say the same thing. You can say it 1, 2, 3 every single time for every single entry. Great job, professors. You're really nailing it out of the park.
these researchers, man, I'll tell you what, they need to.
I know you think they could write one, like, it all it is 2 or 3 sentences. That's all they need of novel, interesting information to put into their region's Pokedex. But they can't even do that.
Copy everyone else's work.
The only one who does it consistently well is Professor Birch over in the Hoenn region. He's the only one who consistently, just brings just an absolute banger of a Pokedex entry almost every single time.
Little claps for Birch there. A fine man, a great professor,
job,
if you will.
And of course, Professor Oak is he's
the godfather.
creator.
He is the cream of the crop.
Exactly. So pretty much everybody's repeating what he wrote already.
Yes.
Okay, both of the answers are in. The question was, of course, what is the name of the mushroom growing on Paris's back, and what can it be used for? Corbin responded with tochukaso. It can be used for medicinal purposes, including extending life. And Mr. Curtis responded with, the mushroom growing on its back is called the tochukaso. They are used as medicine to extend life, also make a great mushroom ravioli. So yes, the answer was... It was tochukaso.
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 Oh, I had tochu at first. I originally had that written down as tochukaso, but I swear later on, like halfway through the lesson, you were saying tojukaso.
I was saying tochukaso.
It's tochu like
CH.
Chew.
Okay, I had C. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. I had CH written at first, and I changed to J. I apologize.
Well, seeing as this isn't a spelling class, I'll give you the points for that one.
Oh, thank God.
Because I feel like I've given Mr. Curtis credit for a bunch of
you
answers
have.
that he spelled
No
incorrectly.
doubt.
It's because you are a wise and forgiving teacher
right.
and guide in this way.
And there's definitely no ass kissing involved.
A lot of it.
All right, question number 3. When does Paris first get its parasitic mushrooms? Both of the answers are in, so let me go ahead and read Corbin's. He said, it gets them at birth. And Mr. Curtis responded with, the Paris is covered in the spores at birth. These spores grow into mushrooms as the Paris grows.
These.
Yes, that's exactly correct. They get the mushroom spores at birth. It's doused on them from something, probably its mother or father or parent or whatever.
Doesn't say.
It doesn't say, but I mean, we could probably assume. All right, so you guys both get credit for that one. Great job. This last question is actually an essay question.
Ooh.
So again, these are a little bit more in-depth questions. I'm looking for like an essay answer here, a long form answer. And now we don't know the exact answer to this. I just want to see what you guys are thinking, because I feel like these Pokedex entries kind of leave a lot to be desired. So I'm gonna ask you this question, and just think about it and just give me a coherent answer, if you will. The question is, what would happen if a Paris never got the tochukasu spores? All right, I have both of the essays in. Corbin responded with, if a Paris never received the spores, it would have the potential to be the most powerful bug-type Pokemon in existence, and its typing...
One of. I said one of the most. I said one of.
Sorry, one of. Okay, jeez. All right. The parasitic mushrooms give it a grass typing. Without the mushrooms, it would just be a bug or a ground bug type due to its ground-dwelling behaviors. Paras and Parasect Paras and Parasect, you said and not very powerful Pokemon.
I'm about to say R, excuse me.
That's fine. Are not very powerful Pokemon. And because the mushrooms are absorbing most of the nutrients, Paras' powers are affected, including its strength and speed. If it were free of the parasite, Paras would live a happy life as a bug or bug ground type Pokemon, capable of dealing incredible damage using its extreme speed to defeat enemies. It would also prey on smaller Pokemon as opposed to tree roots, which is mushroom food.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow, how naive of an answer, Corbin.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, okay, that's pretty rude. I thought it was a good answer. Like,
Thanks.
So you're saying that the mushroom, the spore, is doing us a favor. It's preventing us from the horrible power.
I don't know about that. It's doing us a favor necessarily. I feel bad for the Paras and the Parasect.
I do too. I definitely feel bad
because
for
it's
it.
not reaching its full potential. I really do believe that if it didn't have the parasite on it, I think it'd be a really, really powerful Pokemon capable of dealing an insane amount of damage. Because that spore, the spores on its back, are taking up the nutrients, which are affecting its speed, its strength.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know we don't talk about it.
It takes a majority of the nutrients, right?
Yeah, it takes a majority of the nutrients.
of what a Paras eats goes directly to the tochukaso.
Listen, I've done a little bit of research and, as a trainer trying to learn about it. We don't talk about it in this class much, but like Pokemon statistics and their abilities and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research as an aspiring Pokemon trainer, and Paras and Parasect specifically aren't very strong Pokemon. They don't have the best stats. So I think that's mostly because of the mushroom. I think the mushrooms are sucking the powers out of this thing, and it's a parasitic relationship constantly telling Paras, suck the tree roots, okay, now have babies, and then spread the spores back onto your babies, and it's a constant cycle. I would love to see a Paras without the mushrooms, living its life, doing its thing, eating other small Pokemon, and eating whatever it wants.
Okay. Yes, I agree. I think that's a very, very astute answer, Corbin. Let's move on to read Mr. Curtis's and see
Oh boy.
see what kind of slop he's provided for us today.
That's a good way to describe it, slop.
Oh, Professor. Oh,
All right.
just you wait.
So he says, Mr. Curtis's answer is, at first glance, it would seem that the spores that invade Paras's body are not beneficial in any way, so you could be forgiven for thinking that they would be better off without them. But you would be dead wrong, in all caps. You see, while the spores that invade Paras's body don't necessarily provide a biological benefit, they provide a vital and more ethical function. A vital moral and ethical function.
Okay.
Without the constant moral guidance keeping the wild, rebellious nature of the Paras in check, they would be a danger not only to themselves, but the very delicate natural balance of the Pokemon world. See, Paras's long past developed symbiotically with these spores, and as the spores grew to impact Paras's judgment, Paras, in return, developed a more radical and strong-willed personality to compensate. If you suddenly take that spore out of the equation, the resulting rebellious nature of a Paras would drive them to commit unintentional suicide by accidental death from, and he says, radicalness.
So wait, they're killing themselves just because they think that they're radical? What does that even mean?
Well,
hold on. It's not done yet.
Okay, yeah. Which includes, but is not limited to, taking a fully grown Rhydon at level 1, or taking a quick swim in a pool of Slugma leavings.
Jesus Christ.
So I think what he's saying is that, he did kind of say this, he says that it's providing a vital moral and ethical function. It's kind of like, you have that little voice in your head that tells you not to do stuff, right? Like, you'll you ever have scissors in your hand and you've been like, I bet I could cut directly through my pointer finger. But then there's that voice in your head that says, wait, no, don't do that. He's saying that that's what the tochukaso mushroom is for Paras.
Gotcha. I thought Curtis was trying to say the opposite of what I was saying. I was saying that Paras and Parasect have the potential to be a great Pokemon, but the mushroom is detrimental to it and holding it back. At first, I thought Curtis was saying, no, the mushroom is an evolutionary thing used to to kind of nerf the abilities of the Paris and Parasect so it doesn't go wild and kill everyone, but that's not the case. Basically, Paris gets in over its head and thinks it's more powerful than it is, so it tries to tangle with something like a Rhydon or like a whole pod of Slugma, and that's what you're saying, right? It's kind of like a moral compass for it?
Kind of. The only reason that it's doing that is because, so to enact any of its own will, right? Paris has to have an extremely strong, like
force of will.
And like that kind of like natural instinct to actually do things because of how much command the mushroom has.
Right.
So if you take the mushroom, you take the tochukaso out of the equation, all of a sudden there's nothing limiting that, and it's gonna go crazy. It's gonna go wild. It's gonna, like, as Curtis said, attack a fully grown Rhydon or swim in a pool of lava.
Like there's no voice, there's no consciousness inside of its head. Like it'd be like the equivalent of me, like not having the forethought to not go pee out in the public pond or something like that. Like I wouldn't do that, probably, because
you wouldn't not go out and pee in the public pond?
At night I would. Maybe during the... Okay, so I have the forethought to not do that during the day. A Paris would do it, just wildly peeing on everyone probably if it didn't have the mushrooms. That's what you're saying. It's kind of that... It's like the whole moral compass dilemma. Nothing is stopping it from doing whatever it wants. Okay.
Hey guys, I think those are some great answers.
Bonus third one that I just thought of. What if Parises and Parasects long ago were ravaging entire communities and civilizations, and then scientists developed a genetically modified mushroom to stifle it? It's the only way to stop it. So it attached itself in a symbiotic relationship, or a more parasitic relationship, to the Parises, and that's what nerfed its abilities.
Well, Mr. Curtis is suggesting a symbiotic relationship.
Mr. Curtis is suggesting symbiotic. I think it's definitely parasitic. I mean, it's in the fucking name.
Well, to be honest, according to Mr. Curtis's answer, it didn't start off as symbiotic. It started off as parasitic. And then it kind of became more and more symbiotic as it goes on, because it keeps the Paris from killing itself.
It could be scrubbed from the records, but it could also be human made.
Corbin, I find that answer terrifying.
That it's a genetically human made mushroom to stop Paris and Parasect from destroying the planet.
Because if they would do that to a Paris, then what's to stop them from doing it to, a human that's starting to get in their way, right?
Ooh.
I don't like it. I don't like that answer. I don't think we need to be putting that idea into people's heads, really out into the universe at all.
All right.
But your first answer was great.
Cool.
And so was yours, Mr. Curtis. You guys are both getting full marks. Really interesting discussion regarding the nature of Paris and its parasitic relationship with its tochukasu mushroom. And I think that is a wonderful place to end this lesson. So, if you folks at home had... Oh, I always forget this. Does anybody know what Pokemon we're talking about next time?
Parasect. We've only been talking about it all lesson.
That's right.
Well, we haven't talked about Parasect. We were talking about Paris.
Well...
The evolved form, Parasect, yes.
It's Parasect. I know this.
Okay.
I brought it up in my own essay. I'd be stupid if I didn't know. God, what do you think? I'm an idiot?
I am keeping my mouth closed. I am not saying anything. I need this job. I cannot insult a student again.
Thank you.
But yes, we're learning about Parasect, which is, of course, the evolved form of Paris. But that does it for today's lesson. If you have any questions for me, feel free to contact me at my Gmail, which is, of course, a Gengar mail, at wwopokemon@gmail.com. If you don't have a Gmail account, that's fine. You can find me on the Flying Pokemon-themed social network site, Twitter, at wwopokemon there as well. Feel free to leave a review at Flapple Podcast if you're feeling antsy, if you just want to type about how much you love this lesson, or how much you hated it. That's up to you. I'm not going to put words into your mouth.
But you loved it. Come on.
I mean, I love any time I get to talk about...
No, I'm talking to listeners. Come on. You love this lesson. You know you did. Come on.
Come on.
All right, let's stop putting words... Let's stop trying to influence what our students at home think.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be a mushroom here.
Whoa! All right. Enough of that very depressing topic.
All right, sorry.
So, until next time, class is dismissed.
Welcome to the World of Pokemon is a part of the Pokecasters Network.